over the next 3 days, I want you to do this. I want you to think of where your life and where your business is going to be in 5 years. People overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. So envision what your life is going to look like. 5 years from today, what do you want your business to look like? How much money do you want to make? What about your family? You want more kids? You want to be married? You want to be divorced? Whatever it is, right? Some people are like, yeah, right? Whatever it is, but you want to create this vision, because what it does is you're going to trick yourself, right? And you want to envision it so much that you can taste it, you can see it, to where it's not a vision, it's a reality. Like, it's going to happen. You think Mike Reese knew for a fact he was going to get that boat and have the success that he had? Of course, he envisioned it before. But the reality is there's a lot of people, back me up on this, y'all, don't a lot of people lack a vision? And if you lack a vision, are you totally just, is it going to happen if you don't know where you're going? Is it going to happen? No, because we got to get out of bed every single day. We got to work harder than every single person in our office. We got to be the first person there, last person to leave. And in order to do that, we got to have a fuel, and our vision is our fuel. Our vision is what makes us do what we do. Our vision is what makes us travel across the country from 45 different states and 2 provinces in Canada, come to Dallas, Texas, and learn more about real estate, right? It's about a vision. And I'll tell you a story that absolutely changed my life. How much time do I have? I can go. All right. A story that changed my life, because, and it's so true, and I'll do my best telling this story, because I'm not going to really give it justice, because I have a lot of respect for it, but what we need to do is we need to get out of our own way and quit making excuses for our own life. We need to demand that we're going to be a success, because if we don't demand it, it's not going to happen. The world is not going to just hand it to us and say, here you go, here's your world-class real estate team. It's not going to happen. In 1519, a man named Hernando Cortez set sail on a voyage that would take him from the shores of Cuba to the Yucatan Peninsula. He had in his fleet 500 soldiers, 500 soldiers, 100 sailors, 16 horses on 11 ships. And he was going to take the world's richest treasure. This was a treasure that's been held by the same army for over 600 years. And army after army had tried to go in and take it. They tried to go in and get it done, but guess what? Army after army failed. And it wasn't that nobody knew about this treasure. Everybody knew about it. I mean, the conqueror after conqueror would go after it. And I mean, back then, Hernando Cortez, he was a conqueror. And back in 1519, being a conqueror was like being a real estate agent. You know what I mean? Like, that's a common thing. Like, they taught seminars on how to be a conqueror. Right? He was a conqueror. So what he did is he knew this. He knew that he had to do something different. Because if he did the same thing that everybody else did, just march in and start fighting, there's probably a good chance he's going to lose. He knew he had to change it up, right? No sense in reinventing the wheel. Hernando was a smart guy, so he decided not to just go out, sign a bunch of people up, to join his army. He created a vision for these people. He talked to them. He told them what their lives would be like whenever they captured this treasure, whenever they got it. Talked to them about what their families would be like and how, it would change their lives and their families' lives for generations and generations. And they created this vision for these people. Because he knew that he had to have these men have a level of commitment that an ordinary man would not consider commitment. Like, these guys had to just be so committed, because it was obviously a rough trip. So they set sail. Halfway through the trip, Hernando realized that he had a problem. Because these men that were so confident before started whining. They turned into whiners. Like, halfway through, they're like, Mr. Cortez, we're not sure we should be on this ship at this time. It's turning it around. Cortez is like, great, right? So they land, they get to the shore, and Cortez didn't just march in and take over and just start fighting, like army after army done before. He put them up, he got on the beach, gathered everybody around and talked to them. And what he did is he talked to them, and he gathered them around, and he made them listen to talks about how their children's lives would be different and how their children would grow up in wealth and in favor. And so he gathered everybody around, and Cortez said, and this is where, I mean, they thought that this is where Cortez was going to say, you go here, if the arrows start flying, you know, we're out of here, right? But what he said were 3 words that changed everything. Cortez leaned in, and everybody got real quiet, and Cortez says, burn the boats. And they said, excuse me? He said, burn the boats. Torch our boats, because if we're leaving this island, we're not leaving in our boats, we're leaving in their boats. And they torched their own boats, and an amazing thing happened. They fought real well. And they took the treasure. They took it. A treasure that army after army failed over 600 years. They took the treasure. Why? They had no choice. Take the treasure or die. Take the treasure or die. I mean, I'm sure some of them thought about that, right? Take the treasure or die. But they burnt their own boats. But the question is, for you guys in this room, is what are your boats? And I know so many people, they have so much fear and their mindset's jacked. They have so many things that's stopping them from fulfilling the vision they create for themselves that they need to go burn the boats. They need to just be all in. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, just burn the boats. And this is what I want you to do. I tell myself this all the time because this is what I do. I talk to myself, right? I say, burn the boats. Burn the boats is a story that I think about all the time. Not only in my own business, but also in my life. Whenever I have anything that's stopping me from wanting to accomplish anything that I want, it's usually a boat. And what I have to do is I got to burn it. And that's my challenge to you guys over the next 3 days. Let's burn the boats.